Hi everyone, Tim Rutherford here, Design Truth, Kitchen and Bath. Wanted to go through a job, a truly timeless modern kitchen that we did in 2015. So we're now at 11 years, and it holds up as a kitchen that will never ever go out of style because it doesn't follow trends, and that's the secret. Make something different. Using what we call the architectural style of kitchen and bathroom design, which is using light and form and space to create a composition that instead of the decorative style, which is, here's my bathtub, here's the towel we're putting around the bathtub, here's the towel I'm putting on my feature wall. Like it's about rethinking the space in more of form rather than surfaces that are to be covered. And the so this kitchen, I'll start with the before shot. So as you can see, it's your standard it was a house in Canada built in the late 80s, early 90s, and this was an upgrade at the time. Usually the kitchens were white or an almond melamine with an oak, what was called a J trim. It was a little piece of wood at the bottom that had a little finger slot in it. And in those days, it was cabinets to the 7 foot high level. So yeah, you can see there you've got a foot above it. Almost never do we do that now. You can see there are no moldings anywhere. There's no under cabinet lighting. At some point, somebody pushed the cabinet up because the standard was that the bottom of the cabinet was at 66 inches above the floor for a regular range hood, which was most likely what was there. And then because when they switched it out for an over the range microwave, that cabinet is supposed to be another 3 inches higher at 69 inches above the floor. So that's really what happened. You can see the duct for the microwave range hood. But that's kind of what happened. They didn't do that in the late 80s, early 90s. They didn't do that style where they bumped the cabinet up like that. That did come as a regular style in the sort of mid to late 90s. They got a little bit tired and it was gone by probably about 2005. We never saw that again. I'm sure you've seen these. Then they added crown molding, and you went up and down, and they started calling it, rotten teeth, or the castle effect, where you had these towers and a fenestrated wall created by these cabinets going up and down. I said it was a strong style for about 10 years, and then it was too trendy. It was gone. Now it just looks like if a designer were ever to do that again, everyone's brain would go, "Oh yeah, I remember that from the 1980s and the 1990s." So, um, so what else about this? So now you see they got the sink against the window, quite a large window. Um, I think that's about it. The space didn't actually change, but we had a small island. One of the first requests, which really guided a lot, you can look at the floor tile. So the client's first request was that they wanted to keep the floor tile. They'd only done it about 5 years before, and it went through the whole kitchen and eating area. It went right through the front hall into the laundry room and into the powder room, and they'd spent a lot of money on this tile, and now they didn't want to have to tear it all out. The problem is that once again, another style trend changed between the time they did it 5 years before and when they started doing this kitchen renovation or looking into it. And that was that the tile that was down on the floor was 12 by 12, and it was made to look like stone by multiple random passes of silkscreen. So it almost looked like randomized sponge painting. And this particular tile had pink and black and white and yellow and gray in it. And but it looked, they were trying to make it almost look like a granite, the Canadian Shield granite, but it wasn't a very good representation of it. Anyway, by the time we started looking into this, doing this kitchen, everything had changed. Now what happened was the tile, they had figured out how to, the industry figured out how to print an actual photograph of a real stone on the tile. So you ended up with this tile that started looking very close to the real stone without having any of the disadvantages of real stone, the staining, the smell, the coldness, all the different things that can happen with real stone. And Also the tile size went kind of to 12 by 24 by that point. Anyway, they insisted they wanted to keep the that tile. So let me show you now the 3Ds that were generated by the 2020. So here's a straight on shot showing the final job. So these are the drawings, like the bathroom I just showed, where these were the drawings that were entered in the NKBA Design Excellence Awards contest. So this is showing, how close we could get with the 2020 program to the actual result of the kitchen. So that's the straight on shot. Now we have the shot showing the windows. The third shot of that is looking back into the family room patio door area, and you can actually see if it's clear enough that I don't have the windows in there. I have two uh, panels of white that create, they're supposed to look like the windows. Okay, so let's move on, and now well, let's look at the straight on shot of the whole kitchen, and you can see that it's pretty close to what the 3D images of the 2020 came up. And then this is something that's important to clients. I get a lot of clients who will say things like, I'm a very visual person and I can't make a decision unless I can actually see my room come, and so this is a wonderful tool. And we're on the heels of the next generation, which is I'll be bringing a VR hat right in, or a helmet right into your house, and you'll be able to walk through your new kitchen in 3D color, wide angle, virtual reality. Not there quite yet. There is a version that you can use on your cell phone. It's pretty horrible, but we are getting very close to this new type of presentation. So next shot, we're seeing these windows that I keep talking about, and so you can see now the balance of the windows against the hood. The hood is on a piece of tile. Doesn't look like it's being supported by anything, but it is. Here's a next shot is the same, a little bit of a close up of the two windows, but now colors change because this picture was taken at dusk, so you can see the blueness of the sky is coloring the windows. But you can also see that there's no frame. There's no frame showing. There's no trim showing. There's no. You can't even see the silver thermal separator between the glass. Like it's a thermal pane in there, but you can't even see the thermal separator. So it looks like the glass is touching the tile, the cabinet, the countertop, the ceiling, and it's just floating. How does it do that? How do we do that? And we've had a little bit of a game where ever since we did this, this has been a challenge on the website saying whoever guesses if anybody who can figure out how we did this, we'll give them $100. Now that's not going to make or break anybody the $100, but this is a technology we know how to do. We don't know anybody else who knows how to do it, so we're guarding that secret pretty closely. Um, One of the things about this kitchen is the space planning. So I'm going to show you a top view. This is the 2020 top view, where not 2020 the year, but this is 2020 design is the name of the program, and it was named 2020 because of the vision thing, not the date. Then I've been using it since 1998, so it's been a while. But you can see from the top view that how incredibly tight this kitchen is. So the wall oven um, is sitting underneath the hood on the left hand side. When the door of the wall oven opens, and the dishwasher, which is actually just to the, if you're standing at the sink, it's to your left. When that dishwasher door opens, it doesn't hit um, the wall oven door. The island has just enough room for a dishwasher. At the last minute in the design phase, the buffet was requested and added, and it shrunk everything, and so there's only 30 inches between the edge of the island and the edge of the buffet. And the client panicked a bit, saying, "This is never we're never going to fit in there," because he figured that in code, in the building code, you have to be 36 inches just for a hallway. But this, what I was just saying about the fact that as human beings we are wider at the shoulders and the elbows than we are at the hips. We are at the hips and the feet. It means that the areas below the waist don't need as much room. So as long as those upper cabinets of the buffet were pulled back a little bit, and they were only something like 6 inches deep, they were not deep at all. It means that the person can move through there and they feel like they've got 36 to 42 inches. By the way, the NKBA says we should be at 42 inches. 30 inches, we're not even close. So, but what this was about was about getting the wish list. So another thing that what came onto the wish list is this kitchen, which is only something like 12 by 14. Um, there was even a walk-in pantry. So, and the walk-in pantry had a bar fridge built into it. So that door that you see on the far left of this picture, that was actually a walk-in pantry, and because of the angled walls, because of the curves, it meant that all of this could be built this way. And we're kind of using, when you're dealing with straight rectilinear boxes, you don't have the freedom. Angles and curves work better to get more space because they're following the actual travel and work patterns that we use in a kitchen or in everyday life. And we as human beings don't move in an XY coordinate system. We move from place to place, and the curves actually can be designed around the traffic patterns. So it's just another way of looking at it. So I think that's about it. As I said, this kitchen was uh, very special to me because it was actually the very first design award that I won. We went into the awards. We joined the NKB in 2015. This one went in the very first year, and I was kind of a fun story that the guy I kind of was using at Universal Appliances. I highly recommend them. Daryl. Um, so it was kind of my go-to guy at Universal for our clients. And then here he was. That award was being sponsored by Universal Appliances, and there was Daryl shaking my hand to say congratulations and for my very first award. And we've won since then, won every year for something. And but we want to keep consistent on that. Well, right there. There's all the awards up there on the shelf. I'll turn it a little bit, so shelf is full. So, um, anyway, the said it's a job we're proud of. It's also it's because it's timeless, and as you can see, this kitchen's never going to go out of style. In 50 years, there's nothing you can't go. Oh yeah, that was so 2015 or 2020. Not going to happen because it is timeless, and that's what we're kind of shooting for with every job. Because as kitchens and bathrooms have gone up in price way faster than inflation, and a lot of it is what I'd mentioned before. The kitchens were white melamine with laminate countertops, no under cabinet lighting. Standard cabinets that we're coming from a bulk supplier. Now it's custom. It's under cabinet lighting, soft closed drawers, soft closed doors, interior lighting, exterior lighting, quartz countertops. Like it, it's like night and day. So the prices have not gone up by inflation, but they're like 5 times what they would have been 30 years ago, not double. So what I'm getting at is that if we can create spaces that you don't have to renovate in 20 years, that's that's the goal. Okay, to really bring value to every job, and this is one of the ways we do it. It's not just the quality of the material. It is also the way that we design to have the design not get dated so quickly. So anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed talking about it. Okay. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye for now.